Welcome back to the black portion of my Ixalan set, or Rivals of Ixalan set review anyway. And we're going to go through the commons and uncommons here of black this time. So the first card we have up is actually a super good one. Very excited with this card. It's called Sadistic Sky Marcher. It's 2 and a black for a 2/2 flying lifelink, or it's a vampire soldier as well. As an additional cost to cast Sadistic Sky Marcher, you can either reveal a vampire from your hand or pay 1. So, if you have a vampire in your hand, this is a 3 mana 2/2 flying lifelink. That's really, really good. I mean, lifelink is a super good ability, and when it's in the air, it's more likely to become relevant. So this is just a really good card. Even if you don't have a vampire to reveal, 4 mana for a 2/2 flying lifelink, it's not that bad. Lifelink again, I can't stress how good it was in the last format. Obviously, with the Ascend mechanic, things are looking to slow down a little bit, but this card is really good. I'm probably going to give this a B. I really like this card. Okay, so next card is a Reaver Ambush. So it's 2 and a black for an instant. Exile target creature with power 3 or less. This is similar to Vanquish the Weak, but this is an uncommon because it exiles. I think this card's a pretty good removal spell. So I'll just give this probably a B minus, just because it can't hit everything, otherwise I would just give it a solid B. Next card we have is Mausoleum Harpy for a 5 mana, 4 and a black, 3/3 flyer, and if you have Ascend, whenever another creature dies, if you have Ascend, if you have the City's Blessing, put a +1/+1 counter on the Harpy. This card I actually don't really like because you have to work so hard to get the City's Blessing, and then you have to have some of your creatures die for it to go bigger. So I'm actually not a fan of this one. I'll probably just give this maybe a D+, because at least it is a 3/3 flyer. So, I'd probably put it in my deck, but I wouldn't be super happy about it. Next we have super interesting card here, Oathsworn Vampire. 1 and a black for 2/2, no abilities. Well, it comes in tapped, so, not great to begin with. But you can cast it from your graveyard if you've gained life this turn. And in black-white specifically, there is a lot of life gain cards. So I actually kind of do like this as a recursive threat, but it is only a 2/2, so it's not like a super powerful recursive threat like the 4/4 flyer from the last set. But it is still solid, but it does come in tapped. So I'll probably just give this a C because it's too hard to. I think it's got potential, but I think it's definitely put it in your deck, and it could be sweet to cast multiple times in a game. So the next card we have actually synergizes with the previous card. It's called Arterial Flow. So it's 1 black for a sorcery. Each opponent discards 2 cards, which in this case will be 1. But in Two-Headed Giant, definitely play this card. If you control a vampire, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. So again, if you've got some synergies with life gain, definitely play this card. Otherwise, I wouldn't really main deck it because, maybe. I mean, if you have vampires, you can put in the main deck, but if you're not vampires, I would not main deck unless your opponent has some bomb rares that you really want to get out of their hand. Like maybe if they have a 6 mana rare or a 7 mana rare, you play it the turn before they have 6 or 7 mana, and then hopefully that'll be in their hand. It'll be more likely to be in their hand then. Next card we have is Golden Demise. Is 1 black for sorcery. All creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn, but if you have the City's Blessing, only your opponent's creatures get -2/-2 till end of turn. So I think this is kind of it's an interesting card. I think it's a good sideboard card against like a really go wide strategy of like against vampires. It's really good actually, or maybe small pirates. But otherwise, I don't think I put it in my main deck just because it hits your own guys. I mean, and if you have 10 permanents, you're probably winning the game anyway. So it's kind of a win more card. So I actually don't like this card. Maybe a D+ because it does have some use in the sideboard. Next card is Pitiless Plunder, 3 and a black for a 1/4, and he's got the ability whenever another creature you control dies, you get an artifact treasure that taps for 1 color mana. I'm not really impressed with this card. I probably just wouldn't play it in my deck. It just doesn't do enough. I mean, your own creatures have to die for you to get a treasure. That just does not seem that good. I'm probably going to give this card an F and just probably wouldn't play it in my deck. But we go from F, and then we go to an extremely good card, teetering on the A territory. I don't know if I'll give it uncommon an A, but this might be like an A- or a B+. So it's Ravenous Chupacabra. People are going crazy about this card. It might see standard play. Well, who's to say? But it's definitely a pack 1, pick 1 in draft. So it's 2 black for a 2/2, which, not great. But when he enters the battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent's controls, which is just insane. So it's just always a 2-for-1, and it doesn't even have any restriction. It can kill anything. Bar hexproof creatures, of course. But this card is, always play this in your deck. It's so good. I hope you open a lot of them in your pre-releases. So next card we have is Forerunner of the Coalition. This is the second. There's like a cycle of these. Every color has one except for blue. So it's 2 and a black for a 2/2 pirate, so not super exciting, but you can tutor up a pirate, shuffle your library and put it on top. So you tutor up your best pirate. And I think this ability that it has is a little bit better than the white one, because this one here, when a pirate enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. So you can sit back with this, and it's just going to gain you incremental advantage over the course of the game, which so does the white one, but I like the life loss. I don't know, I'm a big fan of the life loss. That's personal preference, so I'll give this a C+. Next card we have is a good removal spell. It's called Impale, which is pretty cool. I like the artwork. Someone's just getting backstabbed. So it's 2 black, destroy target creature, sorcery speed. Contract killing was definitely playable in the last set, and this is 1 mana less. You don't get the treasure, but it's 1 mana less. So definitely playable. I can kill anything, so I'm just going to give this a solid B. Next one is Grasping Scoundrel. 1 black mana for a 1/1 pirate, and when it attacks, or if it's attacking, it has +1/+0. This one I'm not a huge fan of, because, yeah, sure, it's great early game, but late game it's pretty bad. Also, it can just be blocked by a 1/1, whereas, the other cards that have abilities when they're attacking, usually, like the first 2 I reviewed were flying, so flying's a lot better. This one, not a huge fan of it. I probably wouldn't put it in my main deck unless I was super aggro, so I'm just going to give it a D. Next card is Dark Inquiry. This is an interesting one. It's 2 and a black for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals his or her hand, and you get to take a non-land card from it and discard it. So you get to pick anything from their hand, so that's pretty powerful. It is 3 mana, but if you draw this late game and they have no hand, you don't get to hit, so it's not super good. I'd probably put this at the D+ category, because you do get to pick anything, but if they're dumb, if they're a very fast deck, it's not super good. But I could see it in the main deck. 3 mana, it's hard to say, but it is it's always going to be 1-for-1. You're probably going to trade up most of the time, because you're going to hit a 4 mana or a 5 mana card. So I'm kind of talking myself into it, so D+, maybe C-, we'll see. Next card is Canal Monitor, so 4 and a black for a 5/3, just vanilla. This card's okay. Again, I'm probably just going to give this a D, because of the 3 toughness. So you're investing 5 mana, you want a lot more than this, but I wouldn't hate a main deck, but it wouldn't be great either. Next card again is Vampire Revenant for a 3 and black for a 3/1 flyer. Now, I've seen a lot of flyers in this set, just very small flyers, and the 1 toughness on this really holds it back. Now, if your opponent doesn't have flyers, this is a pretty solid rate, because 3/1 and 3/2 and 3/3 make no difference if they don't have a flyer for a defender, usually, unless they have a removal spell dealing with specific damage. But the 1 toughness really hurts this. I'll probably just give this a D+. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm a fan of this next card. It's called Recover. 2 and a black, sorcery, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, and you get to draw a card. So it's always going to be a 2-for-1. Not always, because you have to have a creature in your grave, but presumably you're going to have a creature in the game, in the grave over the course of the game. I'd definitely put this in the main deck, because especially if they kill your bomb rare with a removal spell, there's not that much removal in Seal specifically, unless you get really lucky. So you get to get back your rare again, play it, and it replaces itself. I like this card. It's probably a C+. Next card is Voracious Vampire. 2 and a black for a 2/2 Vampire Knight Menace, and when it enters the battlefield, target vampire you control gets +1/+1 and menace until end of turn. That's actually a pretty nice ability, especially with lifelink. So probably give this a C+. It's a solid card. And the next card we have is Fathom Fleet Border. So 2 and a black for a 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life unless you control another pirate. So it's basically a 3/3 for 3 with a little bit of downside, a little bit of work to make you not lose any life, but losing the 2 life is not a huge deal. Probably just give this a C, just because it's fine. The next card we have is Gruesome Fate. 2 and a black, sorcery. Each opponent loses 1 life for each creature you control. I think this is a bit of a win more card. I'm not a huge fan of it, again, unless it's kind of a build around card. If you've got a lot of tokens, a lot of strategy with tokens, this could work. But otherwise, if you have 10 tokens, you're probably or 10 creatures on board, you're probably going to win anyway. So I'm not a huge fan of this card. Probably wouldn't play in the main deck. I'm going to give this an F. Not a fan at all. Next card is Dinosaur Hunter. 1 and a black for a 2/2, so just a bear. Whenever it deals damage to a dinosaur, ever destroy that creature. So this is a card I'd put in the main deck, because it's a bear, it's fine, it passes the vanilla test. But if your opponent is playing no dinosaurs, I might actually board it out and put in a different card that maybe has a versatile use or something. But if they are playing dinosaurs, I'm always going to keep it in, so I'm happy to main deck this card, and I'll probably give it a C-. And obviously, if they're dinosaurs, it's much better. Next card is Dusk Charger. Here's a one that I actually like the reward for Ascend on. So it's 3 and a black for a 3/3 just generic horse. But if you have the City's Blessing, it gets +2/+2. That's a significant boost. But I'll probably just give it a C-, considering it has 4 mana for a 3/3. No other abilities, pretty vanilla, so C-, maybe D+. I'm not a huge fan of it. But I'll probably give it the C- just because it has the City's Blessing. So it can be a late game 5/5, which is nice. Next card we have is Dusk Legion Zealot, which is 1 and a black for a 1/1. And when it enters the battlefield, you lose 1 life. And you draw a card, so it's kind of like the black Elvish Visionary. I think that was the card anyway. Pretty solid. I was going to play this in my deck, you know, so first of all it's a vampire, so it's a relevant tribe. Yeah, it's only a 1/1, but at least it replaces itself, and it goes towards your City's Blessing count, so I actually really like this card. Well, really, I'll go C+. Yeah, it's a little bit upside, it's nice. Next card, this is the last card actually, is Moment of Craving, which is a pretty sweet combat trick / removal spell / life gain synergy. So it's 1 and a black for an instant speed, target creature gets -2/-2, until end of turn, and you gain 2 life. So I actually think this is probably like maybe a C+ or a B-. Like, it's pretty solid. You can kill it 2/2 with it. You gain 2 life, which again synergizes with some of the vampires in the set, and also it's a good combat trick. So I really like this card. And yeah, that's the last card. So let me know if you disagree with any of my ratings. If you agree with all of them, that'd be great. But it's good to talk about it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying this set review. Thanks for watching.